New this morning, the LMPD is investigating after a teen was shot in East Louisville over near Westport Road. According to police, it happened in the 3700 block of Chamberlain Court right around 3 o'clock this morning. Police say they found a teen girl with multiple gunshot wounds. They say she was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The shooter left the scene, and there are no suspects at this time. And we now know the name of a teen that was found dead along Dixie Highway. The coroner's office identified him as 17-year-old Damani Smith. Police say they responded to reports of a shooting at an apartment complex on Bonneville Boulevard just around 1 o'clock on Saturday morning. When officers arrived, they were told Smith was found next door at a business complex on Dixie Highway. He died at the scene. Anyone with information on either one of these shootings is asked to call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD, or you can use the online portal. A Fern Creek community is breathing a sigh of relief after a month of questions. LMPD arrested a man in connection with the February stabbing of a 79-year-old woman found dead in her home. WHAS11's Connor Steffen shows us how this news gives a sense of closure for some who have been living on heightened alert.
Driving into the complex at Chenoweth Vista Way.
Everybody's been caged up with this cold.
You're met with security measures mounted on top of garages and built into doorbells. For some, the worries of what happened more than a month ago linger, when police discovered 79-year-old resident Betty Collins dead in her home back in early February.
Probably be a little more cautious about your surroundings and things like that.
As they move forward cautiously, they're met with some sense of closure.
I think about the situation and was just curious if the person was ever found.
LMPD says officers arrested this man, 29-year-old Mark Rudolph, on March 4th in connection with Collins' death. He faces charges of murder, first-degree robbery, first-degree burglary, and tampering with physical evidence.
Never seen that person before, ever, in this area.
Police say investigators tied him to Collins' death after he was captured on video in possession of her car the night she died. According to court documents, he then abandoned her car before taking another victim's car and driving away from the scene. Later, during a search of Collins' abandoned car, police recovered 2 bloody kitchen knives. While closure may soothe some fears, neighbors continue to grapple with the realities of a tragic loss. Connor Steffen, WHAS11, on your side.
Following the attack, video camera doorbells have started being installed at some of the homes in Fern Creek for residents who need extra help. Metro Councilman Stuart Benson said his team, and the LMPD want to help the most vulnerable people have just a little bit of extra security. And we're learning more about 10 barges that got loose on the Ohio River Friday afternoon. Some dramatic video here. As the Coast Guard said, it recovered 6 yesterday. 2 were resting against the bridge, and they have now sunk into the river. 2 by the lower gates remain partially sunk. The Coast Guard says salvage operations will start when equipment arrives. Right now, it's investigating just how those barges actually got loose. And tell me if you've heard this story before. The Sherman Mitten Bridge is going to be closed indefinitely following a Friday afternoon shutdown. The Sherman Mitten Renewal Project said the lateral floor beams on the upper deck were out of alignment. They noticed this on Wednesday night when they tried to remove the temporary bracing and start to pour concrete. Crews are now inspecting to determine the necessary repairs. Now, once this is complete, the renewal team will release a finalized timeline for the repair schedule. Until then, there's no timeline for when the bridge will reopen. Drivers are encouraged to take the alternate routes, including I-265 and I-65. And we are just hours away from one of the most anticipated nights in Hollywood, the 96th Academy Awards, happening just a little bit later on this afternoon. The Oscars will honor the biggest and brightest stars on the screen. ABC's Tim Pullman is outside the Dolby Theater with a look at what's in store.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves.
From Oppenheimer.
Do you guys ever think about dying?
To Barbie.
Please send help. There's murder in Osage.
To Killers of the Flower Moon. Tonight, these blockbuster films among the 10 Best Picture nominees battling for the Oscars gold.
We still have what I consider personally maybe the best lineup of Best Picture nominees in over 25 years.
And for Best Actress, the race is fierce. Annette Bening, Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone, and Sandra Hüller.
It's really, really exciting. At the same time, I am with such beautiful people that it feels all really natural.
Seeing this moment of, leading actress, it's a big deal. So It's long overdue, but it's very welcome.
And who will win for Best Actor? Will it be two-time Oscar nominee Paul Giamatti?
I can tell by your faces that many of you are shocked.
12-time Oscar nominee Bradley Cooper? Or first-time nominees Coleman Domingo?
You know what he saw? A star.
Cillian Murphy?
Voltage drops below 1 volt. You hit that button, you abort. Understood?
Or Jeffrey Wright?
Why am I the last to know?
Best Actor, I think from this position looks like a two-person race at this point. You know, I think it's sort of between Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer and Paul Giamatti for The Holdover. Giamatti's a longtime Academy favorite.
What was I made for?
And previous Oscar winners Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell's What Was I Made For is nominated for Best Original Song.
It's inside this huge movie that has so many things going on, and yet it's so intimate, it's so close. I think that performance will be a showstopper, and I can't wait to see it.
But no matter who wins or loses, there should be plenty of laughs with host Jimmy Kimmel.
I wonder how many people would notice if I just did the same jokes I did last year.
Oscar producers tapping the comedian to MC Hollywood's biggest night a fourth time. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Hollywood.
And diversity at the Oscars is up 4% compared to last year. This is likely due to the Academy's new representation and inclusion standards, which include Best Picture nominees having to prove that there was diversity in front of the camera and behind the scenes.